Hello, everyone.
Should we test this?
Testing. Does it work? Yeah, it works.
Is it working for everyone?
The microphone check?
Yeah, seems good. Yep.
Cool. So I think we'll do a quick round of introduction. First, myself, I'm the moderator, but I work for Informal System, which is a core contributor to Cosmos. So we manage the Cosmos Hub, and we have a team of about 60 people working on formal verification, and we also validate for a bunch of network within the Cosmos ecosystem.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm a developer relations engineer at ThirdWeb. So ThirdWeb is a Web3 development tooling. It's a framework. So we offer solutions for end-to-end developers, and we have solutions for developing smart contracts all the way through to your front end, along with managing your smart contracts through a user interface.
Hi, I'm Diana from the BNB chain, one of the largest layer 1 protocols here. And yeah, excited to see you guys.
Hey guys, I'm Seraphim from Euler. We're a lending protocol. We're probably one of the largest on-chain marketplaces for trading OSDs. So we're going to do a bunch of cool things like Euler Swap, Baby Euler, a bunch of projects this year. And we're going to BNB soon, so that's cool.
All right, my name is David, or Dave, whatever you prefer. I'm from the NEA Foundation. I do all things social media. If you don't like our social media presence, then actually I lied to you, and it's like that guy over there. We just released the blockchain operating system yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, follow us on Twitter. Let's do it, guys. I'm super excited.
Cool. So I think we want to talk about Web3 communities and how we build them and how we not build them. And I think I think we're going to start with you. So maybe you can tell us, like, when you look at a successful community, which one comes to mind? Like, maybe give me your top three community in Web3 in crypto.
In Web3.
In Web3.
Okay, I think firstly, Unlock Protocol have a really great community. It is very self-sustaining, so they all help out. They're kind of like part-time employees, and it's just one DevRel managing the whole thing. She's called Angela, and she is absolutely amazing. So Unlock. Also, Chainlink. Shout out to Patrick in the crowd. I started my Web3 career doing hackathons with Chainlink, and the community is just like a little family. All of the DevRel and everyone is just so supportive. And the third one would probably be Lens. I think they do a lot of good outreach for getting developers on board. Everyone's sort of chatting about Lens and connecting with different people, and they've got a lot of hype around it as well, and I think that gets people on board and they become quite loyal to Lens, and I think that they've done that really well.
Yeah, I agree. Diana, do you have some thoughts about who are the best communities?
Yeah, I actually think Denver is one of the best ones, and I'm really, impressed to see how many builders are here, how many different events are across the globe, and what they do for the community, and not only in the Web3, but they're actually doing a really great job onboarding Web2 people to the Web3. So we are closer to 1 billion users altogether.
Yeah, I think the anime community is the best one in crypto, but apart from that, I think, I'm not looking at us now, BNB has got a really good community actually, because whenever I join Twitter spaces with them, I get 1,000 followers. They're not even bots, they're real people, so it just shows that there's real traction there, which is really rare to see.
Thank you.
What do you think BNB did right to build this community?
I'll be honest, there's lots of freebies, which always helps, so you give away tokens, but I think you have a big focus on retail, which really helps. It's funny though, I had this Twitter space and there was a Q&A, and you would get tokens if you asked the right questions. And I noticed there were 5 people and they had exactly the same voice, and there was one guy. He was just playing the system in there. But the point is, my point is not that. My point is that the community is so engaged, everybody wants to get the freebies, everybody wants to post. It just creates so much traction I haven't seen anywhere else, And that's, I'm just joking, there's actual organic stuff going on there, obviously.
What about Near? What do you think are the best communities?
Well, I would probably get sacked if I didn't tell you that NEO is the best community in the world, right? But it's more than just a community, it's a community of communities. And I think what sets it apart, and it grinds my gears a little bit, but it's the most open, honest, and transparent community that I've ever been a part of. Not a fucking day goes, am I allowed to swear? Yeah? I've done it anyway. Not a fucking day goes by when I don't get, let's call it critical feedback from community members regarding how the foundation operates. And that's how it should be, right? That's exactly how it should be. We've just organized the NDC, which is the Near Digital Collective, which is a novel way of governance, right? And that is really stemmed from the community, and it's testament to what they can do.
Well,
Nice. So how do you, at Near, what strategy did you employ that to build this community? What do you think worked the best, and what do you think works the least out of everything you tried?
Yeah, it's a good question. So when I first started many moons ago at the Near Foundation, what the community team did is really get their hands dirty. We didn't sit on an ivory tower and said, this is what we're doing this week. We're going to have an AMA with these guys, and you're going to attend. We got in there, we got with the community, we spoke to them, and found out what they wanted to hear, what they wanted to see, and then gave them that, right? And then took the feedback that they gave us and continued to iterate on whatever strategy we used to implement in order to engage. And when you engage, it grows.
So the answer is like engaging with your community, right?
Right, but on a grassroots level, you can engage with the community by fucking wanking yourself off and sending a lot of tweets, but it's not the same as being in the Discord and talking to them, saying GM, etc., etc.
How many followers do you have on Twitter?
We have 1.472 million, and when I took over as social media, we had 500,000. But I'm not fucking, no one's counting or anything.
So out of everything you tried or you did to get to that number, like, what was this on Twitter? I mean, like, what was the specific thing that you think brought the most results?
So I think we changed our tone a little bit on Twitter. I'm very much a part of the quote unquote degen community, right? And I feel like I have a pretty good finger on the pulse of what people like to see and what people like to read. So I tried to strip away some of the, I don't want to call it corporate bullshit, but that's what I mean. Yeah, right? And like, fuck the corporate side of it. Fucking follow, I don't know, FedEx if you want a corporate Twitter feed. So I really tried to connect with people on the level that I'm on. And I think it's something that everybody in this room shares as well.
Yeah. So BNB, Diana, so you guys have a very international community. I think you must be like one of the projects that has like a large number of people in Asia, many people in North America. So how do you manage that? Like making sure that you don't have like two separate communities to manage, and like you bring all of them under the same BNB community.
So first of all, how do they manage that is we actually listen, and as David said, we talk to them a lot. And the goal for us is to understand what the community wants, and collect that feedback and being consistent and disciplined in delivering what they want, and giving them a chance and the tools to be a part of that too. Because I'm somewhat a data person, so just collecting information, quantifying that, and we see already not just the community, but we see the data points. They want this, they want that, they want something else, and then we have a product roadmap, and then we have different activities scheduled, and it's basically backed by data too. And I honestly, I love how BNB community is open to many different things.
Yeah. Euler, right? Serafin is your name? Serafin, so when did you guys start building Euler?
So we are a lending protocol, which by definition is not sexy at all. So creating a community is really hard around it. And what you do is you focus on the users of lending protocols, which tend to be whales. So the community approach is a bit different. It's more like you need to know what exactly these people want to trade and give that to them. So products that they actually care about. Like, no one really wants to borrow USDC against Link. Like, very few people do. But people want to have staked ETH as collateral to borrow ETH so they can do the trade. And then we found out people want to do the same with CBETH, so we listed that. and we got money because of that. And as you just have to list products that people want to trade actively, and you do that by asking the whales, what do you want to trade, and you give them that. So that was our approach.
Yeah. So when did you guys get started? Like, when was the project created initially?
So we launched literally a year ago. Yeah, like a bit more than that, like 400 days ago. Yeah.
So I guess my question, like, since it's a rather new project, right? Like Near and BNB, they've been around for much longer time. Like, how do you make a space for yourself when you have like all these other projects that already have millions of followers, like people that are already pay attention to them? How do you make sure that you grab a little bit of that attention and make sure that you have some, you can kickstart the development of the community?
Yeah, it's the same. You have to go to the users and ask them what exactly they want and give them something that Aave and Compound don't have. So we were the first guys to list. So Aave were the first to list staked ETH as collateral. We were the first to allow two-way markets there. So basically, you have additional yield from borrowers to lenders. That created a huge market. Then we were the first guys to list CBETH, and that created another big market for us. So just being first is key, I think. Yeah.
And how do you make sure that people knew about it in the first place?
Yeah, you tend to partner up with, like, CBETH is Coinbase-led, right? So we tap into their network to promote this. We just try to be smart around partnerships with, people that have outreach. So we piggyback on them pretty much, yeah.
Okay, third web. So you guys have a very technical product, right? Like, you have a framework for application. Maybe you can describe the product first and then explain how, it must be like way more difficult for you as a technical framework exclusively for developers to get the degens, to get like the people that actually like and retweet and quote retweet and comment on your post. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, so we offer, so I'll just briefly say like what we do again, just like a little bit more in detail. So we offer the way to go from your smart contracts all the way through to a front end. I don't know if any of you in the crowd are developers, but the process of learning to become a blockchain developer, like a full stack developer, is extremely steep. Like, even with the most amazing tutorials, there are so many different tools to learn. There are so many different languages and frameworks and different things that you need to piece together, and it's not streamlined at all. So what we have done is we have streamlined this process by only having to go to one place, Third Web, to sort all of your development needs. And even if you aren't a developer, we do have a solution for you. So we actually started as a NFT platform with pre-built contracts. So we sort of have this, it's actually been a bit difficult in the community because we pivoted from like a pre-built contract solution targeted towards, the artists and the people who aren't developers, and then pivoting towards this developer community has been quite challenging. And the way to do that is just to talk to as many devs one-to-one, just getting down and talking to people and asking them what they need, finding what the problems are, and then solving those problems, because people aren't looking necessarily for a community. They're looking for a solution to their problems, and then when it solves their problems, they then become loyal to that solution, and then they are going to want to improve that product for their own projects, and then they become active participants in the community themselves, and then the community itself becomes self-serving, and they refer more people, and if they then contribute to the project, then they're invested in the success of that project, and it sort of goes from there. And I think you said something about commenting on social media.
It was mostly like, as a technical product, how difficult it was to get your message across and make sure that you were attracting like people. Developers, like, maybe they are not that inclined to like build the community with you. Like, they got to focus on their own development work.
On the developer work.
On the development work. The people that actually are very engaged are usually like the end users, the degens.
Like keeping them engaged.
Keeping them engaged.
Yeah, I think it's just making sure that they are, actively participating in the growth of Third Web. So we are listening to their feedback constantly. We are in the comments. We are in the comments of our videos in Twitter and all of these places. And we want to know what's wrong with our product. What don't you like? That is music to my ears. If someone says, I don't like this, I'm like, great. That is something where we can improve. And I think then that makes them feel part of the community. It keeps them engaged because they want to keep on top of this, and they want to know that their voice is heard and that we are going to continue to solve their problems.
Okay. Now I want to talk about the big mistake, like the stuff that you shouldn't make. I want to start with the NEAR protocol. You know, you have a platform of 1.7 million people. How do you make sure that you say the right things? You know, like be professional, but at the same time funny. You know, that's what you're going for, right? Like this organic kind of vibes.
Not
How do
really.
you-
No. To be perfectly honest, I say the wrong things a lot of the time and get in a lot of trouble for it. But the times...
Give us some examples of the wrong thing you did.
I can't think of things off the top of my head. I think sometimes I swear too much. I've been told off for fucking... See, there we go. For using memes inappropriately. But hey, we're all adults here, right? And I think people in the NEAR community, which, like I alluded to before, is more of a community of communities, that really like vibe with that. But we also have the capacity to split ourselves between, okay, there is this sprinkling of degen dust, so to speak, but we can also put our fucking, Christ, we can also put our suit and tie on and, you know, shake the hands of whomever we have to shake the hands of and give them the wink and the nod. But then when, you know, all that's done, then we go back and put our fucking tracksuit on and chill out. I know that was a weird metaphor. I hope you got it.
So what are so to avoid this mistake, maybe like you said you made a couple. What are the processes that you guys have put in place? Like, is there like when you go to post something, like you have an idea? How do you make sure that you know, is it approved by someone? What's the process of you know, deciding how to communicate?
Listen, mate, there is no process, right? There's no process to anything here. I just fucking wake up and say, what am I going to tweet today? And we tweet it, right? Yeah? But to be perfectly honest, I do have, and I probably have to say this, strict guidelines from the legal team, who I love dearly, to ensure that I don't post anything that would either get us sued or get me sacked. But, you know, as the head of social
Good idea.
media, I'm the one to approve and write and do everything, actually. Give me a pay rise.
Okay. What about the BNB chain? So what do you think, what mistakes were made?
What's the question? Which mistakes we do?
What mistakes, you know, should you avoid? Like what mistake maybe you guys did in communicating with the community, in managing your community, in putting a message out there, like in communication in general?
I don't know if, you know, we should focus on the mistakes, but I just want to add into the memes culture. I am a big memes person, and I totally agree that we communicate with Web3 in the memes language. But I also want to add a point that we need to educate the community as well. Education is so important to make sure that we don't only, you know, just like randomly talk to them, but we bring value actually, and maybe carefully like inject the content that can bring them to the next level, share the best practices with the community, and as I've said earlier, give them voice, give them an opportunity to speak, to engage with other protocols, for example. I think it's just, you know, it's amazing. We 5 of us are sitting here talking about our experiences, and it's kind of like, you know, cross communication maybe. We have. So yeah, education, and again, consistency. I think the message has to be consistent, and memes. So a healthy mix of memes, education, and just, hey, GM guys.
Cool. So I come from Cosmos. In Cosmos, one way we keep the community engaged is through drama. So we have a lot of drama in Cosmos. There was a big fight initially between the 2 founders, and since then, there's been a lot of like people. We have like the highest rates of governance voting across all of crypto, and even though like that sometimes the tensions are very high, that is something that make people like pay attention and care about what's going on. So we see that over and over again where we get proposals from the core developers, including us, sometimes rejected by governance. And so I was wondering, like, the role for you guys in, you know, governance. Like, is it something that you use? Is it something that is important? Maybe we can start with Euler.
Yeah, it happens naturally. Like, no one cared about Euler governance until somebody walked in and said, we want $2 million grant for some whatever, you know. And then people started giving a shit because they're just going to take our money away. So you see these processes only after someone tries to raid your treasury or promote something, some shit token as collateral. So it happens out of need, really.
Do you have a governance process at Third Web?
Not really, no. I don't think that's something that we really do. Like, we're really only looking at developers and yeah.
What about near protocol? Like, did you have any controversial proposals, or was there an example of governance that you can talk to us about?
Okay, I'll give you one, right? Firstly, fuck Web3 governance right now in its current state, because it's a ball ache. And secondly, we have what is almost an organization of DAOs. So we have a marketing DAO, creatives DAO, developer DAO, and members of the NEAR community can go there and say, hey, I want some money to do X, Y, Z. This is the benefit to the NEAR ecosystem. Some fucking person comes to the marketing DAO and says, I want $75,000 to open a restaurant. Huh? What? Are you crazy?
What kind of restaurant?
I didn't read that far into it, mate. I said jog on. But what I will say is, despite Web3 governance in its current form being a pain in the neck, the NDC, which is the NEAR Digital Collective, if you haven't checked it out, please do, is a novel way of evolving governance in the world of Web3 and really involving and engaging the community. And actually a big part of what the NEAR Foundation does right now will, in all likelihood, be passed over to the NDC as we continue to decentralize, and I'm super excited about it.
Just as the official NEAR person, like if someone puts a proposal for a restaurant, like how do you react? Do you say like, please vote yes, please vote no?
Yeah,
how do you?
So actually it's not that granular at the moment, right? So there is no on-chain voting for it. There's no on-chain governance yet. We essentially have elected and trusted community members who act as council members in these DAOs, and they review the proposals on the governance forum. Anybody is free to comment and say, hey, this is a load of fucking bullshit. Why would I pay you 75 grand for a restaurant? Which a lot of people did. But ultimately, it's at the discretion of the council members for now, until we move into the world of the NDC and it becomes a little bit more nuanced.
Makes sense. Okay, a question for Diana from BNB. So what about partnerships? Like how can you use partnership to build up your community? Like what are for BNB, for instance, what do you think were the major partnership that you guys managed to get that took the community forward?
Partnerships. I think this is one of the amazing things that happens in the Web3 right now, because we wouldn't be here without our amazing partners, actually. And I like to see the structure of the partnerships as decentralized as well, as decentralized and connected as possible. And actually, I was personally sometimes introducing protocols to each other and like, hey guys, you need to talk to each other, you can build together, because what I've seen, the value that different products and tools bring together is multiplied, in comparison to if you just, go one by one and stuff. And speaking of the big ones, happy to see Euler here. You probably know that there were a few bigger proposals on a few decentralized finance protocols too. So we are waiting them on BNB chain as well. And partnerships are it's a thriving ground to enhance everyone, to educate both communities, or if it's like three-way partnership, to bring more users to both, in three ways as well, and to listen again, to find out and to let them build new things too, because sometimes you wouldn't know what can you else do. You don't know what you don't know. But just by talking to them, you'll find new use cases, you'll find new products, you'll find new amazing ideas, and that's really beautiful to see what people are building right now. I'm super excited for 2023 and 2024. So, and I just want to mention, we guys have the Zero to Hero program. So if anyone wants to build something really amazing for the BNB chain, we're so welcome you to, to join us. We'll do our best and our personal walk an extra mile to help you guys. So yeah.
What about you, Third Web? What partnership did you guys sign that made an impact?
Yeah, partnerships are super important because you can combine communities. And I think that that's really beautiful. I just want to reiterate what you said. I think that that is the great thing about Web3 is that everybody knows everybody, right? Like we're still such a small bubble. And I think sharing across communities, sharing the knowledge and the technology and the user bases is just what makes it so streamlined. And if we communicate across protocols and tooling, then that's when there's the real power to build something really, really cool and really useful. I think that the communication between those different protocols and companies is paramount to the growth of Web3 overall. I want to reiterate that point really strongly right now. So we put a lot of emphasis on building really strong partnerships and also listening to our community as to what they are using and what is going to be useful for them, and then making sure that we prioritize those partnerships first and just keeping open-minded about who we want to create partnerships with, because we want to create partnerships with everybody, to be honest, but like obviously you've got to be careful because, you know, there's only so much capacity. But we're so excited to partnership with all these different companies and excited by everything that everyone's doing. And yeah, that's.
Thanks. So I think we are close to the end of the panel. Maybe some final remarks from each of you, starting with Nir. Like, is there anything that I didn't ask that you think should be addressed?
To be honest, I think you've done a wonderful job, but I'd just like to take a moment to shill Nir as the blockchain operating system. It's about to change the face of Web3. I would love to tell you more, but I don't want to take up all the time. So if you want to have a fucking chat and a beer or whatever, come find me. I'll stand over there for 10 seconds. But you can find me at the booth AU over there at some point. But thanks so much for coming, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Have a good day. And I hope you're dealing with your hangovers all right.
Yeah, I think being in crypto is a statement for a lot of people. So the best advice for community is probably don't be too corporate. That's what I found out to be the most useful advice. If you're too corporate, people are just not going to use you because again, being in crypto at this moment is kind of like a statement of fuck you, you know. So you can't be corporate.
Okay, is it my turn to show? Yeah, I just want to say, hey guys, please come to us. We have a booth here at the BNB chain. We recently published the white paper for the BNB Greenfield. It's a decentralized storage, and we're building the entire ecosystem on top of that. And so if you would like to know more, please come talk to us. And we're expanding the validator set, so BNB is going to be more decentralized. So we are looking at 100 validators at this point. So yeah, come talk to us. I
just wanted to mention that it's a great project. It's built on the Cosmos SDK, so it's very much approved from my side.
Yeah, so I just want to plug, we released, I think yesterday or the day before, our collaboration with Shopify. So we've got Commerce Kit, which makes it easy to build Web3 Shopify apps. So I encourage you all to check that out. I will also be around afterwards if anyone has any questions. And our Discord is always super lively. We've got loads of people from the Third Web team who will answer at any time, any day. And those guys are the real heroes. So I want to give them a massive shout out as well. And also we like to empower our users to create their own communities. We offer a governance pre-built contract as well. Like it's called a vote contract, and it enables you to create your own DAO as well. So rather than, on the question that you asked me earlier, we don't have our own governance. We more empower other communities to create governance because that's how it would work, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah. How brilliant are these guys, right? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
You're all incredible. Yeah. Come on, let's do it.